Okay, it is time. We're live. If you are in the chat, will you drop me a thumbs up? Say, yes, I can see you. I can hear you, Graham. That way I know this is all working. I'm looking in the chat and I see people from Sweden. I see people from the US. I see people from all over, friends, all kinds of people. So let me know with a thumbs up or a yes in the chat that you can see and hear me, and we'll get started. Home Studio Simplified is in Indiana. Awesome. We're going to be talking about selling today. So if you're jumping on live, we are going to talk about how the heck do you sell in this climate. Jeremy says, good, I can see you. Bryson, Gloria Warren, I can see you. Cool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Don't you love it when technology works? Finally, it works. Okay. We're going to talk about selling. I'm going to give you a really simple framework for selling, and then I'll do some Q&A at the end, because I think this is one of the biggest questions I'm getting during this whole coronavirus, COVID-19 thing. I mean, it started 2 months ago when people were like, oh, crap, what's going to happen with business? And then in my private communities, a lot of my students were saying, can we still promote? Can we still sell? Like, what's the protocol? Like, should we just give everything away for free? And so there's a lot of good questions that are coming up, and I've been trying to help as much as I possibly can. So we're going to give you a framework today. If you haven't already grabbed it, there's a link below this video. I want to give you something to start out with. It is, and this is something that's part of what we're going to be talking about today. It's my 5-day product pitch email sequence. This is a simple, and I'm talking simple email sequence that you can swipe. You're going to have to rewrite it in a way, but you can sort of see the pattern. I'm going to break some of that down today in the live, but you can use it to sell anything to anyone on your email list. It's a proven strategy. I've made a ton of money using this framework, and it couldn't be simpler, and it really, really connects well with people, and it's going to do really, really well today. So, or in today's climate, I should say. It really performs well right now. So let's break into selling, and before I do, let me know in the chat if you have ever struggled to sell anything, like internally, like you're like, oh, I need to promote my thing, but I just don't want to ask for money. I'm so afraid to like either send out the email launching a course, or you don't have any like piece when you're trying to write the sales copy and you get flustered and you feel like you're trying to like use a lot of marketing speak. Like, let me know if you have ever struggled with selling and felt sleazy or felt pushy or just felt clueless. Any of those works. Just say, yes, Graham, I felt that, because Lord knows I have. What's up, Christopher? What's up, Shannon? Bryson, your hand raised. Christopher, still working on my first product. Struggling now more than ever. Panic button, job loss. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. Johan says, yes. Absolutely. Okay, we've been there. We've been there. So the first thing you got to understand about selling in any climate, but especially right now, is you don't want to ask for the sale first. Like, you don't want to just show up in someone's face digitally and say, buy my crap. Okay, first of all, we're not selling crap. So we know, you and I both know, we're not going to sell crap. We're only going to sell really, really valuable stuff. But even then, you don't want to just show up in someone's face and say, buy my really valuable stuff, right? You don't want to ask for the sale first. You want to give first. Always want to give first. That's just a great way to do life, and that's just the way that selling works best. If you've ever bought something that you really enjoyed the sales process, this was probably baked into it. So one thing to think about, what do you give? Well, in our space, since a lot of us are creating online courses and membership sites, we're selling information products, we're selling access to us through coaching or a membership or whatever it is. One of the best things you can give and the best ways you can model giving in the beginning of the sales process is to educate your prospect. So if you have an email list, let's just use real language for us small little online businesses, right? If you have an email list, these are your prospects. These are your super fans because they have found you online at some point and then they have opted into your email list, which says that they really like your stuff and they want to know more. So these are the best people to sell to anyway. Don't bother selling to the general public. Like that you can if you want to, but I would rather focus my effort on the warm leads, which are the people on your email list. So you want to sell to the people on your email list, but what we can do is we can educate them first. We can actually teach them first. This is a great entry point to get their ear, so they'll listen to you, to add a ton of value at the beginning, right? So they're just soaking it all up, and then only making, when you pitch your product, your course, your membership, your coaching, whatever, only making that more valuable and more desirable because you've already brought them so much closer to making the connection with your product, even though they don't quite know it yet. So what I want to do is give you a simple 5-step framework for selling. And what I do is I think of, let's say I've got an online course, and let's say I'm going to teach people in this online course how to get in the best shape of their life in 90 days. So it's going to be workout routines, it's going to be nutrition plan, it's going to be encouragement and a community. I mean, it's going to be awesome. And let's say it already is awesome. And let's say I've already sold it before and I've gotten people results, or maybe I haven't sold it before, but I've done this in real life with people and now I'm packaging it in a course. And I know that the material works. I know that it helps people. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do is help people. So you've got this course, you know it's awesome. You've got an email list, whether it's 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people, whatever it is. How do you sell it to them? Well, let's do a simple 5-day promotion. And ironically, you're not even going to promote the product for the first 2 days. So day 1, you write up an email and it's going to go out to your list, and all it's going to do is teach them one really helpful trick, strategy, technique, or reveal some really helpful truth or bust some really common misconception or myth, right? Just some solid nugget of wisdom. And so that allows you to create a really compelling subject line in your email that's like the biggest secret to weight loss, or the biggest thing to do, or what to do first thing in the morning to burn fat, like something like that they're going to want to open up if they're in that target market. They open up the email, and all you're doing is dropping knowledge like you would on a video or like a blog post. I mean, that's all it is. It's just education content. It doesn't have to be long, but you just pop in their inbox and you say, hey, over the next couple of days, I wanted to drop some of my favorite tips and tricks on weight loss. And today we're going to talk about this biggest misconception about what you should be eating in the morning or whatever it is, right? And then you just teach. And at the end of the email, you add some value. You get them to go, man, this was good. I'm glad I opened this email. And then at the end of the email, you say, hey, tomorrow check your inbox. I'm going to be teaching you the number one whatever, or the 2 biggest ways to bulk up without looking like, I don't know, whatever it is, right? You would preview what you're going to teach them tomorrow. So now if they open that email, they're like, dude, I can't wait for tomorrow's email. This is just simple, like, promotion of what's coming next. Get them excited about what's coming next. So you taught on day 1. Day 2, you show up and you teach them that second thing, right? That second thing. And you can be a different angle. It can be another piece to the puzzle, however you want to do it. It's just straight up education and teaching. So far, so good, right? You haven't pitched it. You're just teaching on day 1. You're teaching on day 2. At the end of day 2's email, you preview again. Hey, tomorrow, I'm going to share with you my favorite foods to eat to burn fat fast, whatever it is. And you're previewing day 3. Day 3, you show up in their inbox and you do exactly that. But instead of teaching the whole email, you teach about half the email. So you give them what you promised, the 3 foods or whatever, but you transition. Day 3 is a transition email to transition into your product, pitching your product. And so this becomes really simple when you've already taught, and you're teaching one other thing, but generally speaking, there's some element of like, but you know what? This is only part of the process. Really, to get excellent results, there's so much more. And it goes way in depth. And so what I've done is I put this all together, everything I've ever taught or learned or experienced or known or coached or whatever, into my course, whatever, right? And it becomes this natural transition into your product. Now, there's going to be 2 types of people that are reading these emails. There's going to be the type of person that opens up the first one maybe and goes, not interested. Or the second one, not interested. Or doesn't open any of them because the subject lines don't resonate with them. That's a beautiful thing. That's perfect. What we're doing with these first couple of emails is qualifying, right? Qualifying. We are trying to find out who on our list right now is interested in this product. And we know that they're interested if they open the emails and open the emails. So by the time they get to the third email, if they've gotten to it and read the first two, then we know that they are the second type of person, the person who is interested in this material. And so they're going to naturally accept a pitch. When you transition to pitching your course, it's going to be a natural fit for them to be at least interested and curious and desirous of your product because you've already taught them on day 1 and 2, and you've teed it up for them so that who wouldn't want this product if they've been enjoying the first couple of emails? At that point, you just sort of mention the product, you mention some bullets of the benefits they're going to get, and then, hey, click this link to learn more. Okay, and it just takes them to your sales page. And then your sales page can do all the rest. Hopefully you got a video there of yourself explaining what the problem is and how you've solved it and what your course, what benefits they offer, not features, but benefits, results that they'll get. And it becomes a natural pitch on this day 3. And you've got 2 more days. Day 4 and day 5 are just straight up pitch emails. Now, they don't have to be pushy. When I say pitch, pitch is not a negative word. If you could call them offer, straight up offer emails. You're offering them something. But again, highlight some other benefit or some result, like in the subject line on day 4 and day 5. A result that your students have gotten, or a testimonial, or one of the biggest questions you get about your method or whatever. And you just straight up remind them that, hey, I just opened the doors, or just yesterday I let you know about my course. I want you to check it out here. A lot of people ask about, does this kind of method work? And here's why I think it works. And you just explain stuff. Or you know what, one of my students, Nick, went through this process and he got crazy results. Look at his before and after photos, or share a testimonial or whatever. And it's just, you don't have to cover up the fact that you're promoting anymore because you've already done that transition on day 3. So teach on day 1, teach on day 2, teach and then transition to the pitch on day 3, pitch on day 4, pitch on day 5, right? I have literally, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but if you missed it, I literally have put together a PDF you can just download and swipe an example of this type of sequence below, right? The link's below. It's grahamcochrane.com/5 days, but the link's below here. It's my 5-day product pitch email sequence. And in this is a PDF you can download, a little bit of a summary of the order of things. Dude, my chair's freaking out. Dude, have you ever had a chair like, dude, that scared the crap out of me. You've got a little like overview of the order of things. And then, dude, there's all 5 of my emails that I used to promote one of my products called Rethink Mixing years ago. Now, that product has made me over $1 million, and primarily it was sold through this funnel. I didn't really do a big launch when it came out. I was awful at launches. This was just one of those slow, perennial bestsellers. It was just a good product for me. Nothing flashy, nothing big. It was just consistent revenue for about 7 years. I was using pretty much some variation of this sequence to sell it. So you can kind of see it in action, what we just talked about. But in essence, it's so simple because, again, selling, nobody likes to be sold to, right? But everybody likes to buy, and everybody likes to be educated, and everybody likes to be in on something that's helpful. Everyone likes to learn. So if you lead off with education, hey, let me teach you something amazing that's obviously related to your product that you're eventually going to sell. Again, the wrong people who won't buy it anyway, they are not interested, so they're not going to pay attention, so then you never have to pitch to them. But the people who are interested are going to get massive value. They're going to get a sense of your credibility because every time you teach first, you're instilling credibility. You're showing them that you're trustworthy. You're showing them that you have value to offer. So you're doing that on day 1 and day 2, and you're building up hype that, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be teaching you something new. Tomorrow it's like a free workshop. It's like a free week of content, but it transitions so naturally into your product. It works beautifully every time. So download your 5-day sequence below. Again, it's grahamcochrane.com/5 days. I think it'll just be a helpful resource for you. And what I thought I would do is just, this opens up a lot of questions. I thought I would just do Q&A for the next 15 or so and try to help answer some of these questions for you. So if you have any specific questions on this 5-day sort of format, let me know in the chat, and I'll answer your questions, or we can talk about any kind of selling. Sam, what's up? Dropping knowledge already. Welcome, my friend. Marcus, what's up, brother? Thanks for practicing what you preach. Absolutely. What's up, Claude? Dominico said, I just finished recording my first mini course. That's awesome. Okay, the Philosophical Life says, if you don't have a big list, do you recommend using this framework in video form, such as a 5-day YouTube video sequence to pitch, launch your course? That's a great question. If you don't have a big list, you certainly could do this on YouTube. There's no reason why you couldn't. I just don't love pitching on YouTube, but it could work very, very well. And you could always take the videos down if you wanted to after the fact, but absolutely it would work. It's the same principle. Wherever you have an audience, do it there. An email list is the best way to do it because A, it's private, so it's never going out into the public sphere. If you ever want to close the course or change some details or whatever, it's a great way to test things. And then B, people who are on your email list are a different caliber of people than just people who are watching on YouTube. No offense, because I know a lot of you are on my list too. But it's another level of warmth of a list, right? If you have cold leads that aren't interested, never heard of you, warm leads, these are like really warm leads because they've given you their email address, they've opted in for some cool guide, they want more of what you have to offer. So generally speaking, it will convert better to your email list. Great question. Home Studio Simplified, literally doing what he's teaching right now, LOL. Yeah, kind of meta if you think about it. Astia says, Graham, what do you think about selling your courses on Udemy to get exposure for those of us who don't have an audience yet? It's an interesting question. What I don't like about Udemy or Skillshare or any of those platforms, what the negative is they take part of the money, and you don't really have an opportunity to price it exactly as you want to or add crazy tiers where you can build in, personalized coaching. You can't add your own community to it. You don't have a lot of control over the price or what you deliver. I have had that question a lot about should you use it for exposure. I think there are better ways to get exposure. I think right here, YouTube is a much better way to get exposure than Udemy. It's not a bad thing, but just I wouldn't. Just know that you don't want to play the Udemy game forever. Like you have much more income potential if you sell your own courses and build your own audience. Mick Drum Shop says, I fear I'll run out of good stuff before I create my course. I'm building my lead magnet today, starting to film the mini course this weekend. That's a normal fear, but you won't. Look, I've been teaching stuff for free and paid. On the Recording Revolution, let's just take that brand. I've been teaching for free content, sometimes for the first 4 years, 3 times a week. Then for a couple years, 2 times a week, and now the last couple of years, just 1 time a week. Something new every week for over a decade. Still haven't run out of stuff to share for free or paid. It's a common thing to think, crap, I thought for sure when I started, 12 weeks in, I'd be done. I taught everything I could ever think to teach about music and recording. But the more you teach, the more you realize there are so many nuances to what you teach that could be broken apart. And then you also learn that repetition is so important. You've got new people that need to hear it, old people that need to hear it again, a new way to explain it, a new context in which this lives. Repetition is going to be critical to you as a teacher. So don't worry, you will continue to have good stuff for many, many years to come. Alex says, thanks, Graham, for putting 2 and 2 together for me. Claude says, do you suggest this for a welcome sequence? Yes, this type of sequence works beautifully for your initial email funnel when people opt into your list. Absolutely. It can be used to promote something standalone right now if you need to make some money right now in the middle of this situation. You could sell your mini course. You could sell your flagship course. You can sell coaching with it, a membership. But if it works well and you find that it promoted well and converted well on a course, you could put that into your email funnel. The productive producer says, I'm right in the middle of filming my mini course. How do I sell without an email list? If you don't have an email list, then probably social media. You probably have to start creating some content on social, either Facebook or Facebook would work well, Insta. But you need to start talking to people and build you need to make an audience. I mean, you can't sell a mini course without an audience, right? So if you literally have no audience, then you're going to have to, I would go live every day for the next 2 weeks on some platform. Pick a platform where you have people that already follow you. So Facebook, if that's a natural place, if Insta is a natural place, go live once a day every day and start teaching, start dropping knowledge related to your topic, related to what your mini course is going to be, and just do like a long drawn out version of what I talked about today. Teach, 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 educate, 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 add value, and start to build that list or build that audience's attention. Home Studio says, I'm seeing a dynamic shift in that of live streaming. How could I translate this into that medium? Like, how could you do this in live stream form? I don't see them as any different. I just see it as just even more powerful. If you do live stream, you could teach like I'm doing now, and then you can answer questions live at the end, which only gives you more insight into what your audience wants, which might help you tweak the emails or tweak the copy or the positioning. So I think it's very similar. I think if you feel like live streaming is timely and helpful for you and your audience, then I would totally do it. Tremento says, what do you think about using this on cold email? I wouldn't cold email anybody necessarily to sell them a course. I would only email people that signed up to receive emails from you. But maybe I misunderstand your question. Let's see. A lot of good questions coming in. Sorry, let me catch up. What's up, Dylan? How do you learn the most about your audience? I remember you had a trial run with a client before release. Is it something we should try? The best way to learn about your audience is to make free content regularly. Go live like this. Go live every day. Go live as much as you can. Create videos, post them, ask for feedback, ask good follow-up questions, see which videos get played, see which videos get the most comments, or see which content people interact with the most. That's what I do. And then if you want, you can do a beta version of your course or your product and try to sell it to some of the people in your audience at a discount or something and coach them along with it, and then learn what they need more or less out of the product. Nick says, should the first 2 emails be related specifically to the course you're going to pitch? They should be on the same subject matter. They shouldn't be like, you don't mention the course at all. But if I was going to teach, for example, in the 5-day emails that you can download below, the templates you can swipe, I'm pitching a course all about mixing music, like my framework for how to mix your music to sound professional. So the first 2 emails, I'm teaching mixing tips, just really helpful tips. It's the same subject, but it's not necessarily, I mean, I might cover that in depth in the course, but I'm not mentioning the course, if that's what you're asking. Brody Nero says, having a tough time determining my niche and speciality. Yeah. Speciality. Yeah, I mean, start like with the obvious things, like what are you good at? Like, where do you have skill? Where do you have credibility in terms of you've helped people with something in the past? What do people come to you for advice on? Those are great places to start. Good question. Lawrence Wayne says, I have reservations about sending an email 5 days in a row right after someone opts in. Do you see a large unsubscribe rate? Great question, Lawrence. Okay, this is good. We need to talk about this. You should never feel bad about emailing your people 5 days in a row after they opted in for a couple reasons. One, the people that just opted in are the ones that are most interested in you right now. So they are most likely to be okay with an email every day for a few days compared to anyone else on your list. Two, those reservations reveal a fear that you have. You're starting from a place of fear. Never sell from a place of fear, right? That's called like selling from your heels. Like, oh, I don't want to bother them. You're never going to make any money or make a good salesman if you're selling starting from that position. So instead, you have to sell from a place of confidence that if they opted in, they want more. They want what you have to offer, so why would you hold back? And then 2, unsubscribe rates. Who cares if people unsubscribe? Unsubscribes are the best thing ever. You should want as many people to unsubscribe as possible if you're promoting stuff like this, because those are the people that would never buy from you anyway. Those are the people that just want your free thing and then they don't want to be bothered. And that's fine. You've set your business up in such a way, I've set my business model up in such a way that people can take from me. They can watch my free videos and never buy anything. They can download my free guides and click unsubscribe if they want to. I don't force anything on anybody, but I want the people who aren't interested to leave. And what you'll find out is that people will always unsubscribe in general anytime you send an email, because it just reminds them that you exist. And, oh, yeah, I don't like his emails anymore. I don't need them anymore or whatever. They'll unsubscribe. But a lot of people, if not most people, will stick around because if you send good emails, if they're valuable emails, they enjoy the emails, even if they don't read all of them. But they may not buy your thing. They may not need your thing. They may not have the money to buy your thing. That's perfectly fine. But you never want to be afraid of unsubscribes. It's a really, really good thing. It cleanses your list. Deborah says, I want to teach living in place, a movement to make all homes accessible, safe, and comfortable. I've done little to no marketing. Where do I start? Great question, Deborah. You start just by creating content online with wherever you have any kind of influence. So if you have, let's say, some people that follow you on Facebook, start there. Start putting out content on Facebook, talking about it. Create a little Facebook group and invite people into it who are interested. Put out videos on YouTube. Just start to hone in on who would you be helping with this content. What type of people are they? What are their questions that they have? So don't worry about like marketing. Don't worry about like selling, but just how can I start to build a group of people around me that want to hear from me regularly, and I can help them regularly for free. And you can do that on social media, and you can do that on a website like a blog, YouTube, podcast. But you got to think through who am I going to help, what I'm going to help them do, and why should they pay attention to me, and start building your little audience. Kingdom Breakthrough says, is there a minimum size list for this to work? No, there's no minimum, but I tell people, don't sell to your list until you have a few hundred people on the list. Generally 500, but I've seen people sell when they have 300 on their list. And if they're a really engaged list, one of my students, Nick, just launched a membership to his list of 330 people. He converted 90 of them, which is insane. Now, he's kind of a rarity in that he had relationships with the people on his list, like he had a practice outside of the online world, and so he was helping them already, and they were very engaged. And so the engagement level is the big difference maker there. But yeah, at least a few hundred people. And the reason why also is, A, you're not going to sell a ton if you have a small list, but B, you don't want to worry about selling until you have a decent sized audience, because then you know you have something that is worth buying. If you're not sure what to make, if you don't have a big audience, you're not going to make the right product. You really want to, and you don't have to be big, but you really want to engage with an audience and make what they are asking you for, instead of, making something and then hoping somebody will buy it. Dennis says, I've never had much luck trying to sell on YouTube. Emails worked better. Yeah, email is the number one driver of online sales, period. Better than anything. Cameron, what's up, brother? What about Patreon? Downsides, upsides? Patreon's cool, but Patreon makes more sense if you don't have a product to sell, right? Patreon is good for like YouTubers who don't sell products. They give out free videos, and they need a way to be compensated for it, so people support them for their videos. But the best way to make money online is to make and own your own digital products. The profit margins are high, infinitely high. The value you can add is infinitely higher than even just all your free stuff. Way more income potential for you to sell your own products than to like be supported on a platform like Patreon. Bryson and Gloria said, I have my 5-day email sequence in place and have gotten consistent subscribers since launch, but no sales yet. I'm staying consistent with my output. Should I pitch on social media or let the email work for me? Let the email work for you. Bryson, how many people are on your email list? Because you might not have enough people on your list. Like, if you have too small of a list, the conversion rate on your list is going to be so low in general, just because most people don't buy, that it might be really hard to see some statistical data that shows if your product is selling or not. So the most important thing, if your list is small, is to just get more people on your list. Good question. Shakar says, Graham, just by absorbing your free videos, I've built an email list of 1,400 in 1 month in a new niche. Dude, slow clap. That's awesome. I love it. Let's see. Chris says, After the 5-day sequence for a course, do you suggest going weekly for a few weeks, then create another 5-day sequence for the same course to pitch it again? Nope. I would just do the pitch once and then put them in your weekly emails. And then from time to time, you can pitch that product to your general list if you want people that have been on your list for a while, but I wouldn't re-put them through the same funnel a couple weeks later. What's up, Zero Debt Coach? Brad, he says, going live twice per week right now was super intimidating first, but now I love it. Let's see. People helping people out. Yep, I love it. Tim says, I love this point on unsubscribes. I was so worried. Yeah, Tim, every time I send an email to the Recording Revolution, I think I have about 250 people unsubscribe. It's okay. It's not personal. People sharing their website. Okay. Tom Whelan says, what about warming up emails that you may have had for a while but haven't contacted with a sequence? In other words, people interested in my free content in the past before a product was available. Great question. So, Tom, two-part answer. One, if you have an email list and you're building it, you always want to be emailing your list at least once a week. Email them your latest free blog post or podcast or video or whatever. You want to stay top of mind. You want to keep that email list warm and engaged. Otherwise, it will become a cold, unresponsive email list. And then when you email them in a few months, to be like, who the heck is this person? I don't even remember this person. So you want to keep those emails going to keep the fire going. But if it is an old list that you haven't been reaching out to, let's say you haven't been doing that, then you're going to have to start to warm them back up. So I would start with one email saying, hey, it's been a while. I've been cooking up some cool stuff. Today I just wanted to give you something. Give them a bonus, like cook up a cool PDF guide for them or cook up a cool bonus video just for them. And then the next week do another one. So give them a couple of warm-up emails for a week or two or three, then probably go into a sequence like this, because if they're so cold, they haven't heard from you in a while, this might come a little too quick. Nick says, what kind of conversion rate is normal for this kind of 5-email sequence? Right, so I would say, Nick, usually you shoot for 0.5% to 1% of your email list to convert. If you're getting 1%, it's a solid product. Now, it might sound low, but that's pretty standard fare. In a normal launch pitch, and this is basically what this is, 1% converting is phenomenal, because you got to remember, not everyone's going to open your email, and not everyone is going to have the money. Not everyone's going to be ready to buy. But like I said earlier, if your niche, if your target market or your email list is super engaged, you can certainly get a much higher conversion rate, but that's more rare than the norm. Okay, Bryson and Gloria had answered my question about how many email people are on their list, 50 so far. Yeah, so I just think you're too small of a list right now really to be selling to right now, Bryson. So I actually wouldn't put that email sequence in your funnel. Honestly, what I would do when you're that small is I would have a one email funnel. And it would be this: after you deliver the lead magnet that you're offering them when they opt in, send one email the next day and say something in the subject line like, thanks for joining, how can I help you right now? And then just say, or just say the subject line, how can I help you right now? ? And then just say, look, I saw that you joined my list. Thank you so much. I always want to make helpful content. Just let me know, what are you struggling with right now? How can I best help you right now? Just reply to this email and I'll read it, I promise. And that's all your email is. And what that's going to do is not everyone's going to respond, but you're going to start to get dripped responses back from people as they start to respond to that email, and they start to tell you, oh, this is awesome, thanks for asking. Well, I really struggle with X, Y, and Z. And then you're going to start to get a list of ideas of what to make free content on or what to sell. So that's probably the best use of your time right now. And then once you have a bigger list, I would launch your mini course to that list with a sequence like this and see if it converts well. And if it does convert well, then I would make it my autoresponder sequence for when people opt in. Home Studio Simplified said, all the tools that make this easier and free up time to actually devote to scaling are expensive. I am the breadwinner and find it impossible to find the hustle/family balance. Well, it really just depends. I would disagree with you. I would say it's actually pretty affordable. I mean, you can, let's take Kajabi, for example. I run my businesses on Kajabi. I think their cheapest plan works out to be $119 a month if you pay for a year in advance. If you don't have the money to do a year in advance, it's like $149 a month. And that gives you everything: your website, email marketing, build products, build a community, everything. That's pretty cheap to start a business. I mean, I don't know of any other business that can be started for that price. Any other brick and mortar business, any other franchise is a ton of money up front. Like, I think you have to put it in perspective. Now, if you're not ready to sell anything, or you're not even a month or 2 or 3 away from that, and you're like, I have no money, you can still start building an audience on a platform like YouTube. Like, start your YouTube channel, build an audience, and you can use something like MailChimp for free to start collecting email addresses up to 2,000 people. And that's a great use of your time. If you have zero money, then put out YouTube videos for free, use MailChimp to build an email list. Don't worry about selling anything. Just build that list until you've got an idea of who these people are, what you could build and sell to them, and then sign up for Kajabi. I mean, you can use their free trial. Like, I offer a 28-day free trial, which gives you a whole month, right? GrahamCochrane.com/Kajabi. It's a 28-day free trial. Once you've got an audience, because you could build that product in those 28 days and sell it in those 28 days and make some money, and then you transition over to Kajabi. I mean, that's super cheap to have a business, guys. It's insane and super easy to use the tools. I mean, it's just got to put it in perspective, I think. Get your sacks together. I like that name. I've got a re-engage email for inactive contacts, but it's self-defeating as the same people don't answer that. Right. Should you unsubscribe those 600 people? My list is 2,700. Yeah, I would say if they haven't opened a single email from you in the past 90 days, they've gotten all your emails but haven't opened a single email in the past 90 days, I would just unsubscribe them. Chris says, you've taught me to love unsubscribes. Thanks, Graham. Anytime. Shakar says, Graham, do you also have an email sequence for the customers who have just bought your product? Yes. If yes, what do you write in those emails? Absolutely. So that's a whole nother type of sequence. You always want to have a welcome sequence or an onboarding sequence for people who buy your product. And generally speaking, it's very simple. It's going to be something every day for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, whatever. Giving them a little action step each day, a little homework, like pumping them up, showing them how to use the product, the course, some of the features, like make sure you watch this video, make sure you drop a comment here. Don't forget to take advantage of this bonus that you subscribed for, you got. Like, it's just sort of walking them and giving them a tour. In essence, every good online course or product should have a welcome video where you tell them all that same kind of stuff. Like, I'm so pumped you joined. I want to show you around the course. Here's how to do this. Here's what you should do first, second, third. Basically, you take that content and you put it into an email sequence for new subscribers. Daniel says, how do you put things on sale effectively? If I do so too often, I fear it would come across as a bluff. Yeah, I don't like discounts that much. I would say once to twice a year, maybe max. If you start to discount things a lot, you train your people to expect discounts, and which is fine. That is a business model that works for some, but just know that that's what you're doing. So, but if you do it from time to time, it truly is like a great savings, and it's pretty unique. It will work really well. Philosophical Life says, if you're going to do paid advertising for the first time, do you recommend starting with Google ads or Facebook ads? I mean, I think Facebook ads is a great way to start. They're really cheap right now. It's a little more user-friendly, but I haven't done Google ads in years. But I would start with Facebook. Love it. Just a couple more questions here, guys. I got to roll. Lizanne said, should we sell what people want but is not very effective in helping them reach their goal? Or sell something very effective, but that people totally underrate as being what they want/need? That's a good question. You never want to sell somebody something that they don't need. Because at the end of the day, you want them to get results. But at the same time, you don't want to sell them something that they don't want because they're not going to buy it. So basically, Sell them what they need, but wrap it in what they want, okay? Position it as what they want. But then once they get it, surprise, here's what you really need. Don't change it, but like ultimately give them what they need, but position it in the way they want. Yes, and just Get Your Sacks was asking for the 5-day sequence. It should be below the video. It's grahamcochrane.com/5days. And you can swipe my 5-day email template that basically I've been teaching you how to sell in this way. It's an example of one that I've used, made a ton of money with it. It's pretty simple, and then you can just tweak it for your liking in your voice and in your product or niche. Love it, love it, love it. Great questions. Andy says, what mic is that? It's a Rode, what is it? Rodecaster. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you just caught the last bit of the stream, the replay will be up so you can catch the beginning, but definitely grab your 5-day email sequence below, grahamcochrane.com/5days. Hey, and remember, when you sell, just educate first, give first. It qualifies the lead. It softens the communication. It makes it easier. And then when you offer your thing, you can be confident about it because you know it's a great next step for them if they've been enjoying the content you've been teaching and educating them on anyway. You never have to push. You never have to be sleazy. You don't have to manipulate. You just give, and then offer something more. Only this time they have to pay for it, and that's completely up to them. Love it. Thank you, guys. Love it, love it, love it. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Have a great weekend.